Hey guys, Lizardlea here for Dogs Leave Footprints on Your Heart. I don't need to put a part 1 because I'm going to finish this today. That's the pattern. The one they have finished is cats. So cats leave footprints on your hearts. The book is 99 Cross-Stitch Luvable Pets by Linda Gillum. Oh, I have a post-it note on there, sorry. So if you guys want to buy it, there's a bunch of really cute ones. I've done a lot of the cat ones, and I'm pretty sure they're on YouTube. So if you go, I think it was like my Christmas, was it part of my Christmas cross-stitching? Maybe? I think I made a lot of them for my sister and her family, so should have to check it out. Let me know. So I am going to be using 11 count 8 o'clock, which is gigantic. So I'm actually thinking I'm gonna do 3 strands for every stitch, and then maybe 2 strands for the back stitching, maybe 1. We'll see when I get to it. So I didn't make a copy of the pattern because it's so small, so I'm just going to be looking at it as I'm going. I'm thinking I'll start at the bottom of the heart and make my way up, and then I'll do the paw prints, so, you know, you guys know me at this point, so. I'm gonna go cross-stitch. Okay, so this is a very wholesome video, so disclaimer, we are about to talk about the most unwholesome anime I can think of. So if you are not comfortable with that, please mute the video until you see my face in front of the screen at the end, because this is so not an anime I recommend for like 90% of the population.
It's good though.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like the person in my mind who cross stitches is not the person who watches Berserk.
Probably not, no. But then again, the person in my mind who cross stitches probably doesn't watch much anime, so here we are.
I'm weird, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, first of all, it's not the worst thing you've watched.
No, it's not, but as far as, like, anime go, it's very dark, and it goes places.
Yeah, so to kind of
really dark places.
Briefly touch on this, like, first of all, this is not some shock anime in the sense that, like, oh, it's just gross and disgusting or anything like that. I mean, this is really 99% of this could be described as like Game of Thrones. Like, it's violent, it's adult, there's adult situations, there's horrible stuff happening, but it's that. And there's one specific scene which is really well done for what it's trying to do, but also really horrifying, because it's like, I mean, it's like a horror movie being horrific. It's kind of not exactly out of nowhere, but it's definitely like, oh wow, they went there. Yep. I actually think the movies are a little bit better than the original anime, and that's probably controversial if there's, you know, the cross-stitcher who watches Berserk listening. But it's a really good story. Again, considering that it's a story about war and all the atrocities that come with that. The main character is a mercenary who has not had a pleasant life. At all. Like, and
how much do we want to get into this?
I mean, I'm willing to dance around stuff. We don't have to go super
because
deep.
I was going to say, like, there's some things I'll probably get demonetized for.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't want to... Again, at the end of the day, this is your channel, and the whole point is to kind of just talk about stuff. And I think Berserk is hard to not talk about because it is famous, because it is quite good. Mm-hmm. And, like, in a weird way, it's famous because of something that happens at the end that is horrifying. But at the same time, it turns out it's also very, very well done, well written. It's a manga that's been going on for frickin' ever. And, you know, you can handle adult subjects in these things very, very well, and it kind of shows that. That said, yes, it's messed up. So the main character is named Guts. He's a mercenary who wields a sword that's larger than he is, and he's not a tiny guy. And it's kind of like him meeting another band of mercenaries led by a guy named Griffin, and it's pretty much about those two characters. I mean, there's another woman named Casca, but it's really about them and their rise through society and gaining power, and there are some supernatural elements, I suppose, which do not seem to play that big of a role until all of a sudden they do. And like the moment we've kind of been dancing around, I'm not going to go into detail on it again because of the content, but they literally, at the very end of it all, and major spoiler if this is remotely interesting to you and you somehow haven't heard of this or seen this, get ripped into basically hell. And they do a very good job of making it seem hell-like.
Yeah, they portray it in a way that it's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to go there. Like, when you first start watching it, and this is their entire band of people, so it's like tens of, would you say hundreds of people or no?
Oh, at least, yeah, probably 100 to 1,000 people.
Okay, yeah, so it's like a ton of people. At first, you're rooting for them. You're like, come on, you take on the demons, you can survive. And then as it goes on and on and on, you're just like, wow, I'm really glad for those guys at the beginning that were just immediately torn apart and killed, because these other people are just being tortured. Like, the people who were killed instantaneously were the lucky ones. It's a hellscape.
Yeah, and
it's no joke.
And it's a major shift, because again, up until this point, and this is right at the end of the anime or right at the end of the movies.
Yeah.
If you want to go any farther, you've got to read the manga, and whether or not you should do that is up in the air, but it doesn't matter. It's been, again, kind of like Game of Thrones, where it's a very adult, very serious, sort of political / social commentary / action war thing set in a medieval fantasy-ish era. And again, very serious medieval, lots of gross, horrible people, but it's grounded in reality. Guts does some horrible things, the main characters do horrible things, but they're standard horrible things, I guess you could say. And occasionally, just like White Walkers in Game of Thrones, there's these fantasy elements like Zod the Immortal in this, who's this big immortal demon thing. And there are signs that there are things, but again, to put this in perspective, it'd be like if Game of Thrones, like, yes, it's been teasing White Walkers and whatnot, literally dragged the entire cast to hell and killed almost all of them.
Yeah.
Horribly.
Literally only a couple of them live.
And not without major consequence.
Oh, yeah.
So they do it for a reason. Like, it makes narrative sense. It's meant to be horrible, and it's meant to be horrible for a reason, not just for the sake of people saying, oh my god, it's so awful. And so it's really quite good. But yeah. So, I mean, talking about the rest of it, just the arc leading up to that, the whole thing, the Golden Age arc as it's called, it's a really good show because, like I said, it's kind of like a precursor to Game of Thrones in some ways, and it really handles this sort of medieval politics, power struggle thing quite well. The characters feel believable, the fights feel believable, the incredible sexual tension between the two main characters feels believable. And it just also has really cool moments, like when Guts literally fights 100 people. I don't know, did you have any thoughts on like the earlier parts? Because like that, obviously you can talk about the big shock moment forever, but...
I mean, I thought it was interesting. I remember thinking that, like, oh, Griffith is a good guy, and he's the one who pulls them into the hellscape.
Yeah, that is kind of the point.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I mean, he starts out as, like, I mean, he was never truly a good guy.
No.
Because he wasn't, but they portray him in a way where, like, he's not necessarily sympathetic, but you don't dislike him. Or at least I didn't. I didn't get that impression from the movies.
So my take on Griffith, and I think that's exactly what they want you to feel.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the vibe I got, which I think is there on purpose, is I've interacted with people like him in the sense that he's doing nice things, and maybe he wants to do them because they're nice, but mostly he wants to do them because they serve his purpose.
Yeah.
And so he's not actually... I don't even know if he's cognizant that he's being manipulative. Like, he's not even... Well,
yeah, he may not realize it, but he is.
Yeah, and it's like, it's just, he doesn't understand, and there's that big scene where he's talking to the princess, and Guts walks in on him as he's just, like, killed a child for him. And he's like, yeah, I could never, like, be friends with people who can't just follow their own dreams, and so Guts takes that as a chance for character growth, and Griffiths takes that as a massive mind break insult thing. Like, I can't have what I want. What do you mean? And that's, again, they do a really, really good job kind of leading up to both making you like this character and then also making him not just fall from grace, but like making you understand what he is and how terrifying that is and how awful that is.
Yeah, like the reason he takes them all into this hellscape, he gets captured and tortured. And by tortured, I mean they put him in a helmet permanently. What? Why? What?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Like one of the things that always bothers me is like they cut, is it the Achilles tendon? Or at the back of his ankle? So he literally can't walk. Like he cannot walk. That's how deep they go. And it just gets worse from there. So he can't walk. I think they cut his wrists to the point that he can't really grip anything the same way either.
I mean,
like they just destroy him. And so he finds this necklace, and it's
had it.
Yeah, and it offers him the power of becoming a god essentially. And so it's like, I can understand the character arc of him, you know, being okay with this, because it's like, if he says no, he's never going to be able to walk again. Like, he's not going to be able to, like, go to the bathroom and take care of himself. Like, he is going to have a caretaker the rest of his life. So, I don't sympathize with him necessarily, but I understand where he's coming from when he chooses, like, yeah, I want to become a god. Because going into it, did he know that he would have to sacrifice all his friends?
Oh, yeah, he knew.
He did? Okay.
But, like, so the big point of the whole thing is it's about...
He didn't care.
Yeah, it's about ambition. Because the idea is that he has this ambition to, like, conquer... Well, not conquer, but, like, rise above and blah, 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 blah. And so they, again, play very straight and do very well with the idea that, you know, they launched the... Basically, Guts leaves, Griffiths screws up his own life, and then he gets tortured. And so time passes, and Guts hears about it, and he's back to save Griffith, which is like your standard kind of anime, not even anime, but just, you know, plot. Let's go save the other hero.
Let's go save our old friend.
And they succeed. And what they do is they show you, like, it doesn't matter. He's broken. He will never be the same again. The consequences are real. It's too late. And so that's kind of the whole point, which is, like, he is literally pathetic, completely unable to care for himself. I believe attempts to kill himself and can't. Mm-hmm. Like, it's his life is ruined. And so that's basically the offering, which is like, you know, you can either stay a husk or we can make you literally a god. It's just going to cost, you know, the lives of everyone you know in horrible freaking ways. Mm-hmm. And then his pettiness and his ambition and his disgustingness comes out in full force. But, like, and to be clear, when we say gods, like, think Hellraiser's Cenobites, because that is literally what they must have been inspired by.
Yeah.
It's an interesting take. I've heard mixed things about where the manga goes from there, up and down. Like, I always hear it's beautiful. It comes out like 3 times a year if you're lucky. It's incredibly slow-paced. There are people... more and more I've been hearing people say that, like, maybe he just can't pull this off. Like, maybe he's done the best that he can do. Because it kind of becomes Guts wandering around killing demons after that, is my understanding, because the whole world gets changed due to this event. And there's a whole lot that's happened, and I've heard mixed things about all of it, so I can't really comment because I haven't read it, because I was like, oh, well, you know, I'll wait until it finishes, and I said that 10 years ago. No, 15. So, yeah, and it's got an infamous boat arc, not because of anything horrible happening, but because they got on a boat and it took 6 years for them to get off of it, or something insane like that.
It's always a boat.
The internet exploded the day he got off the boat, or at least the circles I'm in. So yeah, no, it's very, very famous, and if you happen to be into cross-stitch channels and anime that's famous, you should definitely give it a look if you can handle more adult stuff. If you don't, by all means, skip this. It's
It's good, but yeah. Like, you're gonna go through some stuff, you guys, so don't torture yourself.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it starts at Game of Thrones levels, so yeah, like there's your baseline.
Yeah. Don't hurt yourself.
I could go on to another one, or...
I mean, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so, other than, like, it is really good. It's easy to talk about all the shock in it, but, like, it's just...
There is more to it.
Yeah, it's... It's
just, that is... If you go into this expecting one thing, and then you get that...
Oh, man, so related to that...
Oh, your mom?
Well, oh, God, I hope she's listening. No, actually, before that, I was going to say either John or Mike. I was watching it, the third movie, with somebody, and somebody else came over in the middle of it. And so they sat down, and they were on the phone, talking with someone, or working on something, while we were watching the movie. And they were on the phone for quite a while, like an hour-long plus conversation.
That is irritating. You're watching a movie?
No. We told him it was okay. Like, we didn't care.
Okay.
He was sitting at the kitchen table. We were watching the movie. He wasn't interrupting. He was doing something.
Okay, continue.
But,
I'm being a brat.
Yeah, you are. But no.
I'm just saying, if I was watching a movie and you came out talking on the phone for an hour, I'd be like, go to the bedroom.
Well, I mean, it's something I'd seen before, and John or whoever else was watching was like, yeah, whatever. So.
Oh, okay, fine. That's okay then.
Point is, whatever they were doing or dealing with, they were like, yeah, I gotta call you back, because that scene happened, and they were just like, what the hell is going on?
Hell, literally.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and then,
Not pretty much, it was.
My mom, who occasionally listens to these, she's tried out anime and some of the more serious stuff. Like, I've inherited a lot of my desire to find good plots, not just good, TV shows or whatnot, but good stories. Like, Mom's the one who introduced me to, like, Greek mythology stuff, and I'm like, wow, some of this is really cool.
Yes.
In fact, most of it. In fact, I remember what the book looks like and where it was on the shelf at the house I grew up in. So,
Heck yeah.
But yeah, she's tried out a lot of recommendations, and my family loves dark stuff. The more miserable everybody is in the end, the better. Like, they won't always admit that, but if you have them list off their favorite movies, you're like, oh, so nobody can be happy, okay.
Have you made her watch Made in Abyss?
No, because I think it goes a little too far in some of the weirder anime stuff. I'm not sure she can do that.
I was about to say, I was like, I don't think she should watch that one. That one, it's kids, man.
Yeah, I know. Well, and then there's the stupid weird scenes. But anyways, so because I think it is a very well written plot, I said, oh yeah, you should watch Berserk. And my mom will text me when she's watching shows or movies that I've recommended to her, or she'll call me and whatnot. And, like, this is one of those ones where I didn't really have to worry about, oh, did you get to that part yet? Because I knew my phone was going to explode. And it was definitely like, oh my god, what just happened? Yeah. But I think she admitted it was very good. It's just, Jesus, what the, yeah. And to be fair, I think she's, like, said recently that, like, yeah, sometimes she's not in the mood for the most horrifying, horrible stuff ever, after a lifetime of that stuff, so maybe, that's what broke her. I don't know.
Your mom is not broken.
No, but, yeah, like I said, my family prefers, utter despair. If anybody's happy, we're doing it wrong. So yeah, I think that's a fair take on Berserk. I can ramble about the next one because I don't think you've seen it.
Well, I was just so I remember I hadn't quite moved in when I watched the movies, but I was like sleeping over a lot basically, and you were like, oh yeah, like text me as you watch, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, for the record, people at home, ways to date. Don't recommend junk like Berserk to your girlfriend. I'm just a lunatic. Continue.
I'm sorry. 2 years later, we're still together. It was successful with me.
I mean, yeah, it was in a very aggressive filtering phase.
I am an outlier. I am an outlier. It's
okay.
She
can put up with this. I'm never going to offend her.
I already passed your movie theater test that you didn't know was a test.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was his test, not mine. But, so I remember texting you and I was just like, oh yeah, like I like this guy. And it wasn't one of the main guys. And of course he ended up dying a very brutal death, but he saved a lot of people in the hellscape. So I was proud of him.
And then they all
don't remember his name. But I remember you kept telling me, like, you know, oh, you may not be okay with this. It might be a problem. And, like, I didn't know exactly what happened, but I knew it got really dark really fast.
Okay, so for slight clarification here, at this point, we've been dating, and I know some of your tastes, but at the same time, like, your favorite anime is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
You like happy things. You like fun things.
I love the Saw franchise.
Yeah, but Saw, like, is less brutal, in my opinion, because it's just there, like, at the end of the day, when you watch Saw, if you're the kind of person who's into that thing, it's mostly like, yeah, this is just kind of...
Into that? I'm not into that.
Yes, whatever. No, my point being that, like, Saw is not meant to... It's more like gross out. You know, like, oh, wow, yeah, that's awful.
It is effed up, though, alright?
Yeah.
Like, I can admit to that.
But...
Anyways, yes.
The whole point of Berserk is to also be emotionally crushing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. So, well, whatever. Go ahead, finish your story. I'm terrible.
Well, you didn't finish yours.
Which one?
You were saying, like, it was early in on the relationship.
Oh, yeah, and I just, like, so, you know, things are going well, let's mess this up and have the girl watch one of the most messed up animes in the world because, ha ha ha, you like happy things, watch this.
And here I am, madly in love with you.
Yeah. And we'd watch Cube at that point and whatnot, so I'm like, okay, she'll probably be fine, but, you know, yeah, I would not recommend.
I just, like, you were freaking out. You were constantly like, are you sure? And then you were like, you know, you gotta text me. And you were telling me, like, you know, oh yeah, you know, there's gonna be a scene where I know where you are because you're gonna text me. And I was like, okay. And I know you were under the impression that I had no idea what I was walking into. And I had an idea. I didn't know, you know, hellscape, but I knew, like, it was gonna get dark. I'd heard, you know, a little bit here and there. So I had an idea. And so I got into it, and I was like, all right, do I text him my genuine reaction, which is like, oh, yeah, wow, that's really screwed up? Or do I go like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever, what the heck? I don't remember what option I went with, do you?
I think you oversold it then.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, I didn't want to tell you that, like, yeah, it's kind of been spoiled for me. Because, like, you were, like, so excited but terrified. So, I had to go with that. But, I mean, I enjoyed it to the extent that you can enjoy something that messed up.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good set of movies, at least. I remember I started the anime, and I swear, I don't watch my own videos, but at some point I was telling you guys that I had started watching it, and the art style creeped me out. And that's why I ultimately stopped watching it. Because, like, the CGI, it was just so creepy. The movies look much better. And, you know, they get there so much faster.
There was no CGI in the original.
It looked like it was... Weird. Are you sure?
There have been other animes that have CGI.
Oh, it was Berserk for sure that I was watching.
No. There have been multiple takes on attempting Berserk animes. The original Berserk anime, the one that's actually on this list, is like from... God, 97, I think it said?
I don't remember what year. I just know it looked creepy as heck.
Well, if it looked
the art style they used was just like, yee!
If it looked Uncanny Valley creepy, that's the newer Berserk, and that nobody likes.
We're gonna go with that one then.
Yeah, and it's, I believe, after that scene, anyways.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so 97 to 98 is when the original Berserk aired, which is even crazier to put this in context, because, like, Game of Thrones was not a thing. That was not how things went back then.
The 90s? That was like Sailor Moon Pokemon wholesomeness.
Yeah! Well, I mean, there were... Well, okay.
Was Berserk, like, successful in the U.S.? Was that anime? Like...
I don't know how it was received in the U.S. I have no idea. All I know is that it is post-Akira and Ghost in the Shell and a lot of that era, too. And I believe... What's it called? Vectors. Magic Invisible Hands. Chop, chop, chop. With the girl and the psychicness and the dog, and it's a sad scene. And
pink hair?
Maybe.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Elfin Lied.
Yeah, that there, thank you. So I think
that one was messed up.
Yeah, and I think that's more on the side of messed up for messed up's sake, but yeah.
You didn't finish it. You didn't finish it. We have had this conversation. You didn't finish it.
I didn't finish it. Fair enough.
And you didn't even get to, like, the best part. Wow, I am messed up.
Yeah, little did I know.
I am not going to admit what I think the best part of that show is. No way.
Yeah,
What's the next one?
I think I know.
We have like 5 minutes.
All right, then I will quickly ramble.
No, I'm lying. We have like 1 minute.
Well, I will very quickly ramble about Standalone Complex, which is the Ghost in the Shell series that I watched because it was on TV when I was in high school. And I think it's fun. It's really, really good. If you watch the Ghost in the Shell movie, that's like a landmark movie that everyone should theoretically watch, but at the same time is kind of hard to watch because you're like, well, yeah, it's just doing this thing, and it's like, it's hard to appreciate that this was one of the first times people had seen things like this. Like, it may not be the only example of it, but it's one of the most famous. I believe it inspired Blade Runner, I heard. I have no idea. I can't remember Death Note, so don't trust me on that one. So yeah, but it was one of the first examples of this cool futuristic cyberpunk thing. And Standalone Complex is totally not that vibe. It's more like cop drama. Like, yeah, we work at a sci-fi cop drama thing. But I remember enjoying it a lot because it was just very problem of the week, but still had an overarching plot, and it was a little more cerebral than things I was used to at that time. And I've always kind of wanted to go back and rewatch it, but I also kind of don't care that much. I'm surprised it's this high on the list, because I didn't know it was that well liked. It's number 90 for the record. And there's things that I like way more that are lower, so it's a fun show, and it's way less messed up than everything we just talked about, so it's still probably kind of not in comparison. The original movie a little bit, yeah, but yeah, so...
The next one is Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm so excited. Oh my god! So excited. You don't understand. Okay, you do.
And that is the end of Dogs Leave Footprints on Your Heart. It took me 3 hours. How cute it is. So cute. Love it. I might work on something else. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. David's still asleep. It's not even 11 o'clock yet. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't have anything else to add. My sister got me this necklace a few years ago, actually. Isn't it just the cutest? I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm going to sign off now. So, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that jazz. I'll see you guys in the next video.